Blessings for you and all those whom you love. There are some items in my life that have been passed down to me from my grandparents and my parents, items that are meaningful to me, probably not to anyone else, but because they remind me of people I love, people that have been important in my life, and pictures that they used to have on their wall that now when I see them, I remember the place where they used to be, and it reminds me of the past. I've gone to places of museums and historic homes where famous people used to live, and this was the bed that so-and-so actually slept in. It's meaningful. You're going to Gettysburg, and this is the fields in which this battle took place. This was the actual place. It's really moving to see a place where a historical event is very profound, that this is where it happened. To have a picture that this is people that my mother used to hold on to and look to, and it reminds me of them. And it's really wonderful to have things that kind of connect me to the past, to the stories of humanity, of my family and people are meaningful things to me. Artwork that has been around for hundreds of years. Like, wow, here it is. Seeing the Mona Lisa at the Louvre. It's like, wow, this is for hundreds of years. People have looked at this and gone and stood here like I have. And there's also something else that even goes back further. And one of those is in church on Sunday, we sing hymns, and some of the times we are not even aware of how old some of these hymns are. Here are hymns, some of them are from 6th century, 8th century, 15th century, old tunes that have been sung by people for hundreds and hundreds of years. Millions, billions of people have sung this over and over again. To be kind of part of the much bigger river of music that just kind of layers that are added to the music, that once I realized that, we did a series a while back where people shared their favorite hymns, and to hear a hymn that this is important to someone else because when they were a child they used to sing it, and or their grandfather used to sing it, and it adds that level as well because it's a meaningful of somebody that I love, and that this was meaningful to them, as well as the historical level. And even more profoundly than that for me is that there are prayers that are ancient, and one of which is so common, so ever present in life, and yet so ancient, and that is the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer, I have said so many thousands of times with people who are dying, people in recovery, people just as a closing of meetings, just to be with people in the hospital, the list goes on and on and on. It's just kind of a refrain that kind of keeps coming back of God's with you, and we're kind of seeking God. But this prayer also has been for thousands of years. This is a prayer that Jesus spoke. This is a prayer that the apostles spoke. This is a prayer that for thousands of years, that, the popes, the saints, St. Francis would have known this prayer. It's kind of like holding a sacred stone in my pocket that has been held by all these other people. This is kind of connects me when I say this prayer, not just to what the meaning of the prayer, but the prayer itself that has been so worn and carried and through such trying times and celebratory times and historic times, that it brings me into a relationship with these people in a different way than just, they were there and it's like visiting the site of a famous place and seeing the chair that someone sat in. But in this case, it's sitting in that chair that the famous person sat in, or eating at the table where things happened. In this case, it's sitting at the table that Jesus sat at, or sitting at the table where all of the saints of God have been somehow connected, and somehow my life, in my seeking, in my heart, reaching out with this prayer, connects me to a much larger community. We have sacred treasures in our midst, and sometimes they are so common that we're not even aware of how ancient they are and how precious they are. There are some things we put behind glass and keep out of sight and out of, so nobody can touch or ruin or damage, like the Mona Lisa. But then there's some things that are really meant to be used, meant to be continued in their life of their own. The Lord's Prayer is one of those. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. A jewel that can be held in my heart, prayed from my soul, and join me to a host of friends and family that have carried me to this place. It is a great treasure to share with you this day, that prayer. Blessings.